Claressa, thank you for the time, first of all. I appreciate you. I know it's a busy time. I guess I'd just love to hear from you about kind of the build-up to this fight and how it's felt for you in terms of comparing it to the other 12 professional fights you've had. Has this felt like a bigger build-up? Does it feel like the biggest fight that you've ever been in?
Well, this is my third undisputed fight, so it's been a big build-up. We fought at the O2 Arena, but not nothing that I haven't experienced before.
I know it's your third fight for undisputed, so I get it. You've been in this position before, but do you consider this one your toughest fight to date?
Sure, if that's what they want to dub it as. I think they dub all opponents who are tall and who have knockouts on their record, they dub them as, oh, this is going to be Claressa's toughest fight. I think that with all the history behind it, oh, she beat me in the amateurs by 6 points, blah, 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 blah. If that's the storyline, and then let's stick to it then.
So do you or do you not consider it the toughest fight for you? Do you think you've been in tougher fights?
I've been in a lot of tougher fights, a whole lot of tougher street fights, and damn sure a whole lot of tougher boxing matches for sure.
Okay, so I'm interested in this then because Savannah's manager described it as clearly the biggest and the most exciting fight in women's boxing history. Do you agree with that?
It's only exciting because everybody thinks that she'll be able to knock out the boogie woman, and that's me. I'm the one that go to all these weight classes and beat all these girls up and take all the titles. So if there's a chance that a girl can beat me, especially if, knock me out because she got a whole bunch of knockouts, then sure, it's the most exciting. But will it be that in the fight? No.
So listening to Peter Fury, who's her coach, right, Savannah's coach, at the press conference, you could definitely tell that he preaches a lot of respect for you and who you are and what you've accomplished in the sport. Do you respect Savannah Marshall? Because it doesn't necessarily sound like you do.
Does Savannah Marshall respect me? You just said Peter Fury respects me. Do you think Savannah Marshall respects me?
I think she said that she admires what you've done in the sport. Is that not right?
And it's not about what she says. No, it's about what she does. When you sit there and say that, oh, she's not better than me, she just got to the belts before me, or I can knock her out in 2 rounds, is that considered respect? When you're talking about a 2-time Olympic champion, a 3-time division world champion, a 12-time world champ, somebody who has accomplished 20 times more than you have, and I'm younger. So when people talk about the respect, about what do I have for her, I have the same amount of respect that she has for me. And if she continues to disrespect me, I'm going to disrespect her. But I never said, she's a shit boxer. I never said, I'm going to knock her out in 2 rounds. I said, hey, she's a decent fighter. I'm just better. And I got more accomplishments. And that's true. But to keep letting somebody who only got 1 belt say that they can knock somebody out in 2 rounds who have 12 belts and 2 Olympic gold medals compared to their 0, that's disrespectful. So I have a lot of respect for Peter Fury, but fuck Marshall. Yeah, it's whatever. And if she ever want to get into a scuffle outside the ring, if she want to fight outside the ring, I beat her ass. And if she want to fight in the ring, I'm going to beat her ass too. So Marshall knows that whatever energy that she brings to me, I'm going to bring to her. So I'm not with the whole let nobody disrespect me. Like, I'm professional, but I'm also a realist. And I think that Savannah Marshall, she don't know what she's getting herself into. Now, Peter Fury knows. He understands it. But Marshall was living in an entire different world than him. And I wouldn't be surprised if she fired him before the fight for being so honest with her.
You said it's not the toughest fight that you've been in your opinion. Is it the most emotional you felt around a fight?
There is no emotion to me. Like, I don't like her, but I didn't like Hammer. I didn't like Hannah Gabriels. I didn't like Ivana Habazine. I think people want to paint out this picture. Oh, she's in my head. She's living rent free. I could care less about Savannah Marshall. If there's a girl out there or a woman out there in the world who says she can beat Claressa Shields, it's my job being a champion to present the opportunity. That's it. To prove that I'm the best. So it's not any extra hate toward her. It's just if any woman say that they can beat me, I want smoke. Amanda Nunes said she's interested in coming to boxing and fighting me. Well, guess what? I'm interested in beating Amanda Nunes' ass too. To show her, stay over there in MMA and do not come messing with the queen of boxing. Do not come messing with me, because I won't smoke with whoever. It's the men who I won't smoke with. So it's just, I know what I am in boxing. I know what I possess.
I mean, a big part of what has captured the imagination, other than the fact that it's for undisputed, obviously that's huge, but a big part of what's captured people's imagination, I think, is the back and forth and the way that you've both kind of gone at each other, right? And obviously that's a lot to do with the backstory to the fight that you mentioned, the fact that she had beaten you in the amateurs and it's the only setback that you've ever had in a boxing ring. I know that you find the narrative tired because you're like, that was however many years ago, it was in the amateurs, look at what I've done since then, and I totally get that. I guess I just wondered, does it mean that you would be happy with a decision win over her, or because of all of that talk, are you super motivated to go out and get a knockout win? Does it need to be more emphatic for you to feel satisfied?
I'm always trying to get a knockout in my fights. It's just, I haven't found that place yet, to where I throw away my skill and just go for all power shots. You know what I mean? It's like, I enjoy boxing. I love being defensive minded and offensive minded and throwing my combinations and just putting on a show. But I try to knock everybody out. It just hasn't happened with all the top opposition that I've had. But of course, we are training to be better than my last fight. We're training to, either beat her down 10 rounds or knock her out. Either or. But a win is a win. And I think that's people keep getting confused. Oh, the knockouts, this and that. A win is a win. Legacy is legacy. And that's it. People still talk about Marvin Hagler versus Tommy Hearns and Marvin Hagler versus Sugar Ray Leonard, because it was one of those fights where both people just went in there and gave their all, and they went all the rounds and people don't know who won. So it's just one of those fights where it's like, a win is a win and I'm okay with the win. But if the knockout comes in the fight, if the opportunity presents itself, I will go for it and I will get it.
In your preparation for the last fight, I think it was the last fight, right, that you spent some time with Floyd and you did some training with him and took advice from him. Has he been involved in the process leading up to this fight? And is he going to be in London?
I don't know, because Floyd got his own fight coming up, I believe, or something like that.
Okay.
But I know that he's, cheering for me, he's pulling for me, and he'll be giving me a shout out after I win.
Do you expect this to be the only time that you fight Savannah Marshall?
Hey, who knows? We both got a rematch clause in the fight. I had a rematch clause with Hammer in the fight. I think Ivana Habazine in the fight. It's always been a rematch clause, so I'm not worried about it. If we have to fight two, 3, 4 times, I'm going to win each time.
The time that you've spent in the UK now, you've been in, I think you've been in like Cardiff, London, Newcastle. Yeah, is there anywhere where you like, this is my vibe? This is where, if Claressa Shields was going to live in the UK, it would be here.
maybe in Cardiff or London. Either or, because I think I've had the most time. Like, I've had the most fun there. Living in Newcastle, nah. Too many Savannah Marshall people.
Hey, question about that. How do you find her accent to understand? Because she has a really strong Geordie accent, an accent from Newcastle. It's not always easy to understand. You always get it?
Nah, I don't know what she said half the time. But her saying, I'm going to outbox you and I'm going to hurt you. And I'm just like, what?
So how good is your British accent? How do you rate your British accent?
I don't know. I only do it whenever I'm really like feeling it. Like, I can say arse. I'm going to kick Savannah Marshall's arse. I don't really try to do the accent. I think that my younger sister has a better accent, has a better British accent than me, because after we did the press conference, I think for like a week straight, it wasn't even a press conference. It was when she jumped in the ring after I fought. My little sister called me for a week saying, if you fight that way against me, I'm going to mop the floor with you. And my sister called me for a week. She said it the best. You know, it was just so funny. She called me and I would answer the phone. She'd be like, if you fight that way against May, I'm going to wipe the floor with you. And I mean, it was just so funny. Like, we would laugh for like 10 minutes, just cracking up on all the stuff that she said. When I went back and watched the interview, she was yelling about, where's your green? Where's your chain at? I'm surprised your neck hasn't turned green. And I'm like, when she said it at the moment, I'm like, what the fuck is she talking about? I had just finished fighting. Like, why would I have on a chain? But it just showed me that she's paying a whole lot of attention to me, and that, you know, she wants her gold chain. So I'm going to give her a loser chain to give to her after we fight.
So I got a video of Deontay Wilder doing his best British accent. He says this particular sentence in a British accent.
They wanted to stay over in England. The fans over there deserve to fight there.
Would you be willing, if I hold the sentence up for you, would you be willing to see whose British accent is better, yours or Deontay Wilder?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Okay. You can take a second, read the sentence.
Ooh.
You basically just have to sound real fancy.
Okay. They want the fight to stay over in England. The fights over there deserve to fight there.
I'm not sure where you're from. Somewhere in England.
Like, I wish you would have threw the word water in there, because I definitely would have said water. But yeah, I don't know.
No, it was good. I appreciate you. Talk to me about the kind of the card as a whole. You talked about being at the O2, right? Obviously, boxing in the UK draws like crazy. It'll be a really big crowd. It'll be a loud crowd, which is very cool to fight in front of, I'm assuming. You fought in the UK before, but you've never fought a British fighter. Are you expecting it to be really hostile? And how do you, like, are you the kind of person that thrives off that? Or how do you think it'll affect you?
The fans don't scare me. Them going, them, you know, cheering or whatever the case may be. Like, I live for those kind of moments, you know. When everybody is cheering against me, that's when I really click on. So I'm not worried about it, because a boxing ring is a boxing ring. A fight is a fight. And I believe that I can outbox Marshall. I can out-brawl her. I can out-skill her. I'm just a better fighter than her. So I'm not worried about none of that.
So on the card, you've also got Michaela Mayer and Alicia Baumgardner, which is really cool. Yeah. Super featherweight unification fight, that one. They could have headlined their own night, but they're on the same card as you guys as the chief support. What does it mean to you having an all-female card and having one that's got as much credibility as that?
I mean, it's huge, you know, and I believe that they could do their own card in the U.S., but to just have us all together, you know, the men do it all the time. They all build each other up, fight on each other undercard, and bring each other fans to each other. So I'm like, I think it's great, and I think that they deserve the notoriety, and that it's a huge moment for them too. You know, whether you're the co-main event or you're the main event, that's what people are showing up to see. You know, so those aren't showing up to see me and Marshall, they're showing up to see Alicia Baumgardner and Mayer. It's no big deal, because they're going to stay the whole night. And the same thing, vice versa.
Right. Do you consider them both friends? Are you supporting both of them on the night, or how does that work for you?
Oh, no, I can't do that. Michaela is my sister. You know, we went to the Olympics together. I've always cheered for her. I can't say that I'm cheering against Alicia. You know, I think it's going to be a good fight for both, you know, girls. But I think Michaela is going to pull it out. I think she's in for a tough fight, though, because Alicia got power. She can box. And it's a lot of, you know, emotion and trash talk involved. But I think that's going to be one of those fights where both girls are going to have to put on the line. But I've seen Michaela go, you know, throw down. So, so I look forward to seeing her, you know, take advantage of the moment and just do her thing.
One thing that occurs to me is you've got yourself, obviously, you've got Michaela, you've got Alicia, all three of the four main fighters on that card are American, based in the US. Savannah's the only one who's British and based in the UK. If you're looking at it in terms of accolades, you're the A side in the fight against Savannah, right?
Of course.
But the fight is happening in London, in the UK. So all those American fighters moving over there, what does that tell you about the difference between women's boxing in the US and the UK?
women's boxing in the UK is thriving right now, and that's why I'm so happy to be, going over there and fighting in the UK to get more fans, to build my brand, to have more boxing fans know about me, and to be able to continue my career, and to prove that women's boxing can sell, that we can outsell venues, that we can have a great build up, that we are making the best fights, and just the UK is doing it the best right now.
I mean, people thought it would be on pay-per-view. I think people assumed that, right? But it's not, which I think is a really dope thing because it means it's super accessible. The viewing numbers are going to be crazy. What's more important to you? Would you rather be a pay-per-view fighter because there's a status attached to that, right? Or would you rather be accessible and be viewed by millions?
Accessible and viewed by millions. I mean, a pay-per-view fighter comes with time and they got to be a strategy and things like that. But women's boxing is still fairly new, and you talk about they're still trying to, can women's boxing sell? Like they still haven't come to their senses about that yet. Once they come to their senses about that, the big fights in women's boxing will be pay-per-view. But right now, we're just new. It's really like it's boxing, but it's new. And I think people who run boxing haven't figured out, like, hey, women's boxing can do exactly what men's boxing do, as long as we put the time and the promotion and the money behind it. But I think that they haven't figured that out yet. So once they get there, it's going to be all good.
So speaking about people who run boxing, I think equal pay and equal fight time have always been a big issue for women in boxing, right? And it feels like equal pay is always going to be difficult until the women are fighting equal time. And so until we leave behind the 10 rounds and 2-minute rounds and go to the 12 and the 3. Well, I guess I wonder, who do you hold responsible for standing in the way of women getting equal pay and those changes being made?
I think it's the man in charge, It's the people that cut the checks, people who think of women's boxing. Like, stop saying women's boxing and say women's boxing. And say boxing. Say it's a world championship fight. Say it got 2 great fighters. Say it's got two fighters putting their life on the line for their families, I don't know who idea it was to make the 2-minute crap, but yeah, get rid of it, and I think that we need to start doing 12 2-minute rounds first, and then 3 minutes over time.
Okay.
But right now, all world championship fights should be 12 2-minute rounds.
So I think the commissions and the sanctioning bodies, they would cite medical research, which says the women are more prone to concussions, which I think has been debated either way, right? Do you think that their main objective is to protect women? Do you think that's what it's about? And if so, is it working?
That's what they say. But if that's the case, in men's boxing, they need 2 minutes to be protected. We didn't ask to be protected. We asked to be respected. It's 2 different things. And If we didn't want to get hurt in boxing, we wouldn't sign the contracts and we wouldn't fight. So respectfully to all the organizations, but I'm in a sport of boxing to fight. It's a do or die sport, and I ain't asking to be protected. If that's what's going to give me the equal pay to have equal fight time, then equal fight time is what we need. And we'll prepare for that. We can't prepare for something that we've never had. That doesn't make sense.
You're vocal for equal rights for women. You're obviously a real role model for young people in general, I think, but also for young girls particularly. To get there, you've obviously had a lot that you've had to overcome in life, right? You've been open about the fact that you were sexually abused when you were younger. Your mom struggled with alcohol addiction. That kind of hardship, it's partly what gives you such a strong voice and makes your voice so powerful, right? But it can also create resentment and anger within people. How do you think that you've managed to let go of that anger and resentment?
I just know that I'm not going to give nobody the power over me. Me actually speaking about my sexual abuse was something that I have wanted to do because it was just weighing on me a whole lot. I just got tired of keeping it a secret. But after I talked to my mom and really understood her point of view and had a better understanding of it and a better feeling about it, then I was able to speak about it. But at the beginning of it, I just I ain't want nobody in my business. I don't want nobody judging me.
Did you find that speaking publicly about it helped you?
Yeah, it definitely helped me because it relieved me of a lot of stress and just kind of feeling like I was hiding this big old secret about myself. And everybody kept asking, like, we know that you're different from all the other women boxers. What makes you so different? Why do you have so much passion about boxing? and all this other stuff. And I just was like, I had a I had a tough upbringing, and people would ask, well, what was your upbringing like? And I just didn't want to speak about that. Having to overcome any kind of obstacle is it just shows character.
Right.
That's what I think. But I didn't start boxing so I can get strong enough to beat up men or nothing like that. People try to paint this story, and I was like, no, that's not the story. I just love boxing, and I love training, and I love how boxing made me feel. But
does it still do that for you, or has that changed?
I love boxing.
Yeah.
It's when I'm inside the ring boxing, especially for a fight, it's probably the happiest times of my life, really.
Do you think you'll be a lifer in boxing when you're no longer fighting professionally? You're going to be coaching? You're going to have some kind of role in boxing? Or what do you think your future is?
I'm coaching now. So.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I'm coaching now. So I definitely.
Who gets to train with you?
Oh, man. It's over 100 kids right now. We have a BOF boxing, yoga, fitness class at my fiance's gym. And we got over 100 kids signed up, ages 7 through 18. And we have a nonprofit now, and we've been training these kids for the past month, actually. And it's going to be a year-round program, but this is the first year.
That's very cool. By the way, you said fiance. Now, I felt like when do you remember a while back on Instagram, you posted a picture with your ring, and then you went on your YouTube and you said, no, I never said it was an I do moment. I never said I was engaged. So you are engaged.
No, I'm engaged now. He gave me a promise ring on Valentine's Day 1 year. And then the next year, right after my birthday, a few days after he proposed with a different ring.
Nice.
So yeah, I have a promise ring and I have an engagement ring.
Okay, congratulations. Do you guys have a date set? You know when you want to get married?
I got to beat these girls up first. No, like 2024 though, 2024.
Oh, you're planning ahead. Okay.
Yeah.
What's a Claressa Shields wedding going to look like?
I have not been able to think about that yet. I have no idea.
All right, Claressa, I appreciate you. I can see you're busy. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you. And have a good day.
Best of luck.